What's up, everybody? Kramzer here from Listography, and I'm here to give you my staff picks of the week. First things first, you'll probably notice a pretty woodsy, rustic scenery behind me, but the albums I'm going to put out to you today are not anything in that nature, a lot more pop rock. The first one I'm going to talk about is the long-awaited album, probably about 10 years, from Badly Drawn Boy, Banana Skin Shoes. Really good album. If you're not familiar with him, he has not really gotten rid of his early 2000s kind of piano rock sound, but it's not a low-key piano album. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of production going on with it. A lot of eclectic variety in the instrumentation, mainly because there's a lot of different producers on the album. Every couple of songs has a different producer. There's a lot of horns and then a lot of electro work on it. Sounds a lot like a good Beck album, but is not as intellectual. It's a lot more approachable and a lot more pop-heavy. If you're familiar with his old stuff, this doesn't stray too much from it, like I said, but it has a lot of really good groove, and it's pretty surprisingly upbeat. My favorite stuff of his from the past is kind of like the About a Boy soundtrack era. This one has a lot more kind of funk and big brassy horns at times. Despite the banana skin motif in the album title, it doesn't slip up at all. It's very to the point. It's very well thought out and methodical, and is kind of about, how easy it is kind of to lose your footing here in modern times. Check out the songs Is This a Dream and Tony Wilson Said. The other album I am going to recommend as a staff pick is also a Album of the Year alert. We are on Album Watch, and just to give you a little bit of background, probably around the 4th of July weekend, we're going to be going over a lot of the albums that we feel are contenders for Albums of the Year so far into 2020. But this one is going to be the heavily anticipated and equally hyped and very good, the 1975 Notes on a Conditional Form. It's kind of a companion piece to the one they did in 2018, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. It's a really just masterful pop art album that's very modern, might even be a little dated 20 years from now. It sets the tone right off the bat with just a spoken word speech by Greta Thunberg, and then there's a little bit more of that throughout. There's just kind of this conscious effort to create the feeling of the times and a lot of political efforts, kind of inflicting change and everything like that with political elements and, societal and racial tensions. And then it kind of gets away from that a little bit and goes straight up into just a big variety of different pop elements. There's the 80s sounding stuff with the big horns. There's a lot of more just kind of straight up, almost like punk rock stuff. But Matt Healy does a lot of different nice techniques here. He can be really soft and docile, and then he can be really loud and kind of have like that big Peter Gabriel feel that I think a lot of people like about their really respected work from the last 5 or 6 years. It's a little bit danceable. It's a little bit electrifying just because the way the album's very long, but it's also very kind of short and to the point. A lot of songs under 3 minutes, so you're never really just soaked into one thing. You get to kind of bounce around a lot, which is also kind of the motif of the album. They're always kind of playing off social media and new young culture, where we kind of have this frantic mindset to do one thing and one thing and have a multitasking going on at all times, and our attention can't really be kept, and they really play off that really well from song to song. I think it is a little bit too long, but it doesn't really ruin it for me. Like I said, it's an Album of the Year candidate. I love it. The production on it is fantastic, just like the other album, and I think the songwriting is better than it was on the previous album. Might be my favorite 1975 album. I'm not holding myself to that yet, but it is fantastic. It is worth the wait. Check out the big hits, which are Guys and If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know. But I do think this is an incredible album. Not anything to really win over people that don't like the 1975, but I do think it's just a really awesome pop art album, and I always liken them, and a lot of people do, to Peter Gabriel, and this is in that exact same vein. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Those are my couple of staff picks of the week. Gonna have a lot more coming up. Please stay tuned to Listography for our albums of the year and for our listographies of various artists. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I'm Kramzer, and I will see you next time on Listography.